When I was 6 or 7, I remember one rainy Saturday afternoon watching a movie that would blow my mind and lead me down the rabbit hole of everything and anything sci-fi. The 1960 movie starring Rod Taylor, The Time Machine, based on the 1895 novel The Time Machine by H.G.Wells, it changed my life, and as a young boy I always wanted my own time machine to go back and forward in time. Now fortunately for mankind, building a real time machine was out of the question, but a model instead, well, let's start scratching that build. Unfortunately, the clock that I was going to use had seen better days and was beyond repair, and to get a new mechanical timepiece was proving too expensive, so I just used what I had. I painted a couple of layers of Mod Podge onto the face and started on the actual time machine. I was lucky enough to stumble across this Ford Model T Roadster for €12, so it was cheap enough to do what I needed to do to the model. As you can see, it's level 5 skill rating, so well beyond my skill level, but I did follow some of the instructions until I had to deviate, which was a godsend because those instructions were giving me a headache. As regular subscribers will know, I'm more of a kit basher than a model masher, so reading these instructions is like staring at that keep off the grass sign in the local park. I totally disregard it. My take is, if they didn't want anyone to walk on the grass in a public park, then throw some cement down. Anyway, I started releasing bits of plastic from their sprues and finally built the basis of the Model T car. Now, I made a Ford Mustang Back to the Future vehicle a while back, a few videos back, and don't get me wrong, I love the DeLorean, but this design with the plush velvet seat, gold levers and spinny psychedelic wheel will always be my OG time machine. It was a design for sitting back, lighting a cigar while in your smoking jacket, pulling a lever and quite literally watch time go by. But I felt it had one flaw, which in the movie did kind of address. The 1960 time machine was always stationary, which as a young boy got me worried because what if a roof fell on top of you? Now, being older, I know writers can cover all that sort of stuff with MacGuffins and say the time distortion field would create a force field around the object, but in that film I'm pretty sure Rod Taylor was still almost pulled out of his machine by one of those Morlocks. Those Morlocks, along with the Weiroo crow-like creatures in the film The Land Time Forgot, were the two main creatures that scared the bejesus out of me when I was growing up. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's talk about the time machine build. I tried to stay as faithful to the OG machine by having rails replace the wheels. But on mine, I wanted my time machine to have the ability to hover and move, so these two Transformer toys come in handy. They have nifty looking propellers in scale for my machine, so with a little nip and tuck, I got them off the toys. Now, if you want to leave a comment, put the code word at the start so I know you got here before skipping. Also, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. It's free to do so, but really helps the channel, as does leaving a like. And that is the code word. Back to the build. I glued the propellers on each wheel arch. I had to cut a bit out of the arch so the propellers could spin. I mean, what's the point if they don't spin? I had to extend the back of the car for my clock, so I used a piece from the already dismantled Transformer toy. I suppose I couldn't help myself as I wanted to give a little nod to Doc Brown's DeLorean car and added my Victorian take of what a flux capacitor would look like using some beads. Then it was onto the underneath of the vehicle. I didn't go too heavy on the greeblies, just using the wheels. I just cut them down and stuck them into place. And while I do that, I'll put some subscribers' names on screen who left comments. If you want to see your name on screen, remember to be a subscriber and leave a comment. It's that simple, won't cost you a penny. So my time machine is on the turntable, which means it's painting time. What I remember about the OG time machine was the red velvet chair, so I guess mine's going to be red too. At this stage in the build, I wasn't sure if I was going to include the roof or not, but I painted it anyway and then didn't bother using it later on. So this is kind of wasted. But this is just a quick excuse to bring out Jeff, the hairdryer. He's not been in a few videos recently, and due to contractual reasons, I've had to bring him out. So there's Jeff, the hairdryer. Say hello, Jeff. For the main body of my time machine, I went with I think it was like a night blue that I just carefully painted. No airgun on this one because of all the little tiny parts, so it was all just paintbrush. I'd forgotten to film me painting all the other parts in a gold colour, so unfortunately that's virtually it. There's the chair going in now, and I think the red on the blue looks rather special. For the back of the clock, I used some wooden cogs and metal cogs, just bulked it up, painted it black, and then did a dry brush of gold over the top of that. My main fear was the weight of all those cogs on the back of the clock would make the machine sort of lift up, but fortunately everything seemed to have worked just nicely. I'd painted some watered down brown on the clock face just to give it that sort of marble effect, and then for another little nod to Back to the Future, I put the time to 10:04 PM, which was the clock tower time, I do believe, if I'm correct, and Goggle told me right. And after I struggled doing all that, it was time to get everything together. And putting the clock on, I just used some sprues and painted the sprues just to stabilise everything, and it's on to the glamour shots. So thank you very much for stopping by. I do hope you like my time machine. It's not as good as the OG time machine, but this is my take of how I would have built a time machine and just slightly tweaked it. So like I said, next is the glamour shots. Please like, subscribe to the channel, everything helps. All your comments, all your likes and your subscribes, it's really taking the channel upwards. So until next time, thanks for watching and keep scratching that build, everybody. Glamour shots are next.